So, Tony, can you tell us a little bit about what's in the sky this month?
Yes. Well, actually, this is a great month for viewing planets because usually I send you, getting up at 3 in the morning to see planets, stuff like that, but now they're actually all up right after sunset. The moon will point out the planets in this time. So if you get up, or if you are up at 9 o'clock at night, should be, if you're still awake at 9 o'clock at night, look to the southwest, in the west, you'll see Venus, the brightest planet, and the moon will be peeking up right next to it. Next night the moon will be above Venus. The moon next approaches the planet Jupiter in the constellation Libra, the Scales. The moon will keep moving off to the east. On August 18th, it'll be kind of between the planets. So you'll see the moon, and then on either side of it, you'll have Jupiter and Venus to the right, and Saturn and Mars off to the left. And remember, the planets are the brightest things in the sky after the moon. So most of these planets are brighter than stars. Saturn is maybe like a bright star, but the other ones are actually quite a bit brighter than any stars. On the 20th, it passes Saturn, and finally Mars on the 22nd and 23rd. So if you pay attention to our weekly sky report, I'll remind you of all these dates. It's online on our website. Here's what you'd see if you have a telescope. Now, actually, you won't see quite this much on Venus. This is taken with an ultraviolet filter so that you can see the cloud details. But otherwise, the phase is visible. Venus is about half lit right now through a telescope. Jupiter always has a lot of beautiful detail. You can see the dark belts, bright zones between them, and the orange red spot. It's pretty obvious.
Not the orange spot? The orange red spot.
Well, it's called the red spot. It's actually kind of pumpkin color, although it actually changes over time. Sometimes it is brick red, but currently it's more pumpkin, I would say. And in this picture, it looks kind of day-glow orange. But, Jupiter rotates every 10 hours, so you don't always see the red spot every time you look at it. Again, the sky report will tell you what days you can see it. Saturn is beautiful now, although the rings aren't quite at their maximum opening. That was last year. They're still close to their maximum opening, and this is the best time to see it now if you want to see it through our telescopes on the lawn. All of August will be great for that. And finally, Mars, passed its close approach on Monday, and we'll probably be mentioning a little bit more about that later. Currently, there is a dust storm that's now settling, so as this picture shows, you can faintly see the dark markings on the planet through a telescope. It looks kind of like they've been painted over with a thin layer of paint. It's very hard to see the markings, but they are becoming more visible. Also, with that, I guess we're holding out hope that maybe we'll hear from Opportunity as the dust now is settling around it. Maybe the sun is shining bright enough for it to get power. So this is also a great month to see Mars. Even though it's past its closest approach, now it's visible in the evening. You don't have to stay up till 1 in the morning to see it. As the month goes on, it'll move into the evening sky. So in about a week, it'll be a regular part of our program with our telescopes here. Okay, now the moon is new on the 11th. This is good for a number of reasons. There's a solar eclipse on the 11th. Now, we won't see that here. It's only visible, well, it's visible across northern Europe and northern Asia. So about 70% of the sun will be covered from Siberia. And in the morning sky, no more planets because, well, Mars is up until just before sunrise now. But all the planets have moved out of the morning sky. But the exciting thing, and this is why the new moon on August 11th is good, is that the night after that is the height of the Perseid meteor shower. And to see meteors, you want to go out of the city. Around here, probably the nearest really great places like Joshua Tree National Park. Also, the moon's not out, so having a dark sky and a moon-free sky means you can see the maximum number of meteors. We expect a little over 1 per minute at its maximum, so about 70 per hour is what we're expecting this year.
And is that from a dark site?
That's from a dark site, and also it's after midnight, so you can see the meteors starting about 10 at night, but and they're nice and slow and sometimes very bright early in the evening, but they become faster and more numerous after midnight and just before dawn. So you can watch until about 4:40 in the morning, and then that's when you'll see the greatest number of them probably.
Great. So Tony mentioned about all 4 of those beautiful planets up. How many of you here tonight have gone out and been able to go, yes, 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 I've seen all 4? So it's totally easy to do, especially in some ways in a city where the light pollution is bad, because that means you can't see any of those other pesky stars that make it hard to identify them. They really stand out. And so we encourage you to do that. As Tony said, you have a couple weeks more, and it's kind of astonishing to just see them lined up all in a row. That's because they're all in the plane of the solar system. All of us are on that same sort of record disk orbits, all rotating in roughly the same plane, and so they all look like they're lined up. And it's a beautiful sight, and I strongly encourage you to do it.